Gaudete Sunday. The air is filled with anticipation. People's excitement level should be high. We should be running around getting last-minute things prepared. The Lord Jesus is coming. The Lord will bring in the reign of God. In some ways, the reign of God has already begun. The fullness of the reign of God, however, is not yet here. Today's readings present this to us so that we can reflect on it. Our first reading presents the words of Isaiah, reassuring the oppressed people that things are going to change. God is going to renew the earth, and the people of God will be restored beyond their former glory. God's reign will be reestablished. St. James reminds us in our second reading to be patient for the coming of God, the Lord Jesus Christ. The Lord's coming is at hand, and things may get rough for a while. But when the Lord Jesus does come, it'll be better. He tells us to use the prophets as the role models. The prophets met opposition, even persecution, yet they continued to proclaim the need for preparation for the coming of Jesus. In our gospel, we see the reign of God in transition. John the Baptist had proclaimed the closeness of the reign of God. He knew that it was near at hand. Just as the reign of God was beginning with the ministry of Jesus, John was in prison. John was the last of the Hebrew prophets, following in the footsteps of the old. When the reign of God began, John's role was over. Jesus tells John's followers that the prophecy of Isaiah, which we heard in the first reading, is now being fulfilled. Jesus speaks about John the Baptist. He proclaims John's role as a prophet who prepared the way. He raises John the Baptist to the highest rank among the prophets of old. And then Jesus says something strange. Yet, the least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he. Think back to Moses and the promised land. He had led the Israelites out of slavery. For 40 years, he guided them through the desert. He knew God was leading them into the promised land. Moses believed, and for most of his life, Moses acted faithfully. Moses was able to climb a mountain and see the promised land, but he never stepped a foot into it. In a similar way, John announces the coming of the reign of God, but he will never see it flourish. Today is Gaudete Sunday. I'm wearing my rose-colored vestments. Gaudete in Latin means rejoice. We are told to rejoice because the advent of the reign of God is near. It is already present, but the fullness of Jesus' presence has not yet become a reality. We are in a state of transition. The Lord is already with us, yet our joy is not full. We have to be patient. We are called to share in the role of the prophets. Through our baptism, we share in that prophetic role. This means we speak to others of the reality of God. We can do this by the way we live our lives. We need to be a model of our belief, in fact, that we are already part of the reign of God. We need to patiently treat those around us with the love God has for us, so they would begin to look forward to the fullness of God's reign when he finally comes.